And welcome back to ABC 7 Extra Sunday. Our discussion on election integrity continues with El Paso County Elections Administrator Lisa Wise and Diana County Clerk Amanda Lopez Askin. Lisa, how are poll workers or precinct chairs trained to handle something like someone wearing a candidate's hat or shirt who's in line to vote, or someone who's inside that 100-foot zone from a polling place trying to influence voters, or even someone who's seen tampering with or destroying a candidate's political sign? What do you do?
So we do our training for all of our poll workers, and in a busy election like this that we're in right now, we work with our local law enforcement, the county sheriff's department, to also hire off-duty deputies to have routes where they go to different locations and they're able to respond quickly if there were to be an on-site issue. So we do train our poll workers. Number one is to try to de-escalate, which is, again, you're not allowed to wear any political apparel, whether on the ballot or not, in the state of Texas within 100 feet. And so that's honestly that we see that every election, but we see that in much greater numbers during the presidential, and we have this year. And so basically they're just asked to please either turn their shirt inside out or cover it up or take off their hat or pin, whatever it may be. 99% of the time the voters oblige, and we have very little issue with that. If they're not willing to do that, they need to either change and come back, or they need to, like I said, cover that up. We do have times where we have had to bring in law enforcement, basically just to enforce the law, enforce that, hey, this is the code. This isn't just an office policy. This isn't just somebody who works at the polling site who may be, just trying to enforce their own beliefs, which is what we get a lot of feedback from some of the voters stating that, hey, they just don't like this candidate. That's completely false. We do that across the board. And they're trained to, again, try to de-escalate, and 99% of the time that happens. But if it doesn't, then we do have deputies either on site at our really busy locations or nearby to assist if that needs to be.
So Amanda, is the training similar for your poll workers in Diana County?
Correct, and we've added some enhanced training connected to kind of this heightened, I think, energy that's been, we've had politically for the last 4 years. What I do, and what I implemented a couple of elections ago, was I call all law enforcement and convene all of our partners, and that would be the city, the county, New Mexico State University, our state police, all of the municipalities. And we convene, we talk about the election, we give them the election codes, what's allowable, what's not. We ask them to brief their law enforcement individuals the morning of the election so they're aware of where the sites are. We don't have them on site because there is a fine line between voter intimidation, which is sometimes perceived, not necessarily actual, but perceived, so we have to be careful about that. But we've had great response from law enforcement. They're on board there, and we feel very, very fortunate that we do feel secure. We're always concerned about an individual that could come in and be agitated, but there are not any reports of any systemic threats coming, and we tune into the FBI and all of the national level security that does come through. So our poll workers do also ask individuals, the same as it is in El Paso, it is in Diana County, where we ask them to turn their shirt inside out, take their cap off. Almost everyone is compliant. We have had to remove a couple of people that unfortunately left without voting. We did have a long line. They refused to take their items off, and we hope they come back to vote. But the rules are the rules, and the law is the law, and we have to follow it.
All right. Lisa, ABC 7 recently received an email from a viewer whose sister voted at the Isleta Community Center, and while checking her ballot, she noticed that, and I'm quoting here, she hadn't voted for president, and when she asked the attendant about it, they reviewed her submission, which in fact was missing a vote for president and others. They had to void her initial submission, and she had to recast her ballot. The second time around, she noticed that a second page appeared where she could vote for president, but the page did not appear the first time around, and the attendant said that the system was very sensitive and that she may have accidentally skipped the page. So how often are the voting machines checked for accuracy?
So a couple of things is what we like to make sure that voters understand is those machines are not tabulating. Those machines are not keeping any sort of a record. They are what's just called a marking device. And that's because we have paper ballots, right? So, and Yet the screen is pretty responsive in the way that almost an iPad or a phone is. So if you've ever, I don't know if you've ever hit something on your tablet or something and you've erroneously gone to the next page or gone to the next race. That happens. That can happen on the machines. Now, these machines are tested before they go out, obviously, before they're deployed, and then randomly throughout the process. Are they calibrated, things like that. But again, that's the security of the paper ballot, and that's what we tell people, is that when you have the paper ballot, you're not casting your ballot on that machine. That machine is printing out a paper ballot for you to review, and you have that option before you even print it to go screen by screen and review. But even after you've printed it, it's not cast yet. That's where you have your final review to see, did it print, what I touched? Is it reflecting in my choices? Did I hit 2 buttons? If I don't use a stylus, did my finger, touch 2 races? Did my bracelet touch 2 races? We've had that happen before. Rings, jewelry. So that's why we have paper ballots. So you're able to review that before you cast it. If you notice that it is not filled out correctly, then the law does allow you to spoil that ballot and get another paper ballot. And then vote that ballot. And then once it's in the DS200, which is the tabulator, the ballot box, it's not retrievable. But that is why, again, we encourage voters, review that paper ballot every single time. If you need to spoil it and vote another one, that's fine. But again, we have those paper ballots for the purpose of review, so voters know, okay, this is what exactly, what reflecting what I selected. And then we maintain those paper ballots for 22 months in the event there were a challenge or a ruling that we needed to recount or a challenge to the election.
Amanda, same question for you.
Yes, but we have a little bit of a different process. We just have the paper ballots that are hand marked by voters. So we don't have anything that would be sensitive to the touch, other than when they place it into our tabulator, it is literally counting it as in real time. So that is the difference between, I think it's a good highlight of a difference between El Paso or Texas and what we have in New Mexico.
All right. Lisa Wise, the El Paso County Voting Administrator, and Amanda Lopez-Askin, Doñana County Clerk, I thank you both for coming on ABC 7 Extra Sunday.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invite.
Well, here's hoping everything runs smoothly on Tuesday for both of you. And when we come back, we'll talk with New Mexico's Secretary of State on the efforts to maintain election integrity statewide. You're watching ABC 7 Extra Sunday.